Okay, welcome to my podcast. I'm Maxime. Podcast name is going to be World to the Max. So I'm your host. And so the goal of the podcast is pretty much after spending years in the United States, in other countries, playing football or studying, I've been blessed to meet a lot of people from different countries. And now the goal is to share this knowledge, share the culture from different countries. And first guest today is going to be Ivan, my friend from Italy. So we're going to be talking about Italy. Shortly, we've met through football in the United States, and we've stayed in touch since we know each other. Okay. How are you, Ivan?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. I just got back from the US last week, so I'm happy to be home.
Good, good, good. So, well, the goal of today's podcast is to know first about the country and then have your opinion about different things in Italy, what's good about it, what's not so good about it. But yeah, the goal is to know the country and for maybe people that want to travel, give them ideas. If you had to say where Italy is in the world, how would you locate it?
I will locate Italy. Of course, it is in Europe. Pretty obvious, and it's in the south of Europe, close to Spain, to Portugal, to Greece. So that's about that
Okay.
height. So it's not cold.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. So Italy is a pretty long country, I would say, from north to the south. What would you say you have in the north and what would you say you have in the south?
So in the north, you can find the weather is, of course, is colder than the south. It's much colder. You can find the Alps, so you can go to ski. There are beautiful cities in the north as well, like in the south. There is now it comes in my mind Florence, Milan, Venice, Turin. While in the south is way warmer than there are beautiful. I think like I'm from the south, so I prefer a little bit more the south rather than the north. There are beautiful cities like Palermo, Naples, Rome. Then in the south we have two islands which are Sicily and Sardinia, and I'm from Sardinia. And in the south there are the most beautiful beaches and one of the most beautiful sea, I think, in the world. Those are pretty much the differences. And the food, I think, in the south is a bit better.
Okay, okay. Interesting. So, what about people? Would you say people are very different in the north or in the south?
Yeah, people are different from in the north and the south, and they're a bit different even region from region, both in the south and in the north. But I would say, yeah, in the in the north they're a little bit colder, while in the south we are a little bit more welcoming when like let's say if a guest comes into a house in the south, they're gonna have everything from the people that are from there, like food. They're really, yeah, welcoming, while in the north they're a little bit more yeah, colder.
That makes sense. Makes sense. I know you've traveled a lot in Italy. And if you had to say what's the best meal you can find in the north, or if you can give me cities, the best type of food, and in the south, what's a good meal you should eat, for example?
Okay, in the south it sounds obvious if I say pizza, because the
Mhm.
pizza is from Naples. In the north, I really like the polenta.
Okay.
It's famous, and I think it's one of the best. Then in the south, other than the pizza, I mean, I'm from a region. There is the porchetto is famous, and I think that is for me is the best. Yeah.
Okay. Well, of course, people know Italy for their food. They know Italy for, yeah, their traditions. Apart from food, what would you say are some traditions or culture things that are really from Italy?
People always talk about the slow life and
Hmm.
stuff like that. So an Italian thing to do is like putting the emotions before the efficiency. I would say
Hmm.
like living the life before everything else. So
Yeah.
meeting with the people to get a drink before lunch, or having lunch together, having dinner together, hanging out, chilling. We're very
Mhm.
good at chilling, yeah. Yeah, that's the most Italian thing to do.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think we've all seen or heard about the Dolce Vita in Italy.
Yeah.
Everybody everybody's living slower. Do you think on the other side, because at the end that's what we see on Instagram or on social media, do you think Italian people are hardworking in general, or do you think it's true they're more easygoing and
Italian people are not lazy at all because like I personally have many friends. I think they are hardworking. Even I have friends from Switzerland that we both know, and this friend says that he works with Italians, and he always says that Italians that they work a lot. Uh, in my opinion, Italians are hardworking there. They're not lazy. That people sometimes think because of this reason that maybe we are lazy, but we are not.
it's good to say it because maybe people don't know it. So if you had to rank the best cities to go visit in the country,
Yeah,
what would you say is the best from the best to maybe a top 3 or top 5 max?
I would say the first one is Rome, 100%. The most beautiful city. That's my favorite. And then I would say Venice. Then I would say Naples, third, and fourth Florence. And then you can visit many other cities like Siena, Palermo, Turin, Cagliari. I think it's better to visit those cities, even the smaller ones, before Milan, which I think is overrated. Like
Oh,
if you like fashion or business or stuff like that, okay, you can go to Milan, but you're not going to Milan to visit monuments or to experience the Italian life, because it's not about that at all.
okay. Good to know. Good to know. If you had to describe a normal day in Italy, for example, for someone that works, what are a lot of habits that Italian people have when they go to work in a normal day?
Yeah, during the work hours,
Mhm.
one thing that Italian people do is, I mean, of course, we take the break for lunch, and then after the break for lunch, we're not gonna start to work again until 4, because usually Italians take a nap after lunch, like always. So everything is closed before 4 p.m. Nothing is gonna be open. So that's the main habits that Italians have uh, during their.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't know that. You go to a different country as an Italian person. What are the things that you miss the most about Italy?
The thing that I miss the most, first of all, is of course food. And earlier I didn't mention pasta as a dish. So I miss, of course, food, pasta, and then I miss the vibes, walking around. Like I lived in the US for a while, and those are things that in the US, for example, you cannot really do, walking around with friends or getting a drink, because it's just different. So the thing that I miss the most is going downtown to have a walk and have a chat with friends.
Are some things that you do as an Italian that other countries you realize that they don't really have or they don't really do?
I mean, I'm Italian, but I'm also half French from my mother's side, so I know even that culture a little bit. And I realized that, for example, during like Christmas or Easter or big festivities, or marriage, during a marriage, like usually the the time we spend there is huge. Like it could be from 12 to 8 p.m., like all over. I think like the countries that are close to us in these things are Greece, Spain, and Portugal. Are like we have similarities on that. But for example, when I go to France, because I'm French too, as I said, it's way shorter usually. And the way that the dishes comes during a lunch, like for example Christmas, it could be there is the first course, then another first course, then a second, then another second, then three desserts. So uh, if you ask me what is the thing that Italians do that other countries maybe don't do, that's what comes in my mind. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so spend a lot of time together when it's weddings, Christmas, Easter, the whole
Yeah,
day.
even sometimes it's even too much. Like I would rather have it a little shorter.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because then you keep eating, you keep sitting down and okay, so about Italy, we talked about food, we talked about traditions. So one thing that Italy has in general is a sense of art. How do you see that in the society in Italy?
But yeah, I think art is really huge in the society, even from the past. Yeah, starting as I say from with the Roman Empire, like they created art everywhere. You can find their buildings road even today. Then other things like for the fashion, like brands like Armani or Gucci or Roberto Cavalli, like that. Even cars, there is Maserati, Ferrari, Lamborghini. So yeah, if people, when you think about Italy, you're gonna think even about these things. Especially everybody link Italy with Ferrari after 1 second. Like they're deeply connected. Yeah,
Yeah, I agree. And it's the same. Ferrari is mixing sports and art together. So
and
it's even,
beauty all together. Yeah, that's right.
yeah. Tell me a moment when you maybe traveled that you thought you're proud of it being Italian, something that makes you proud of being Italian.
Yeah. So the country about politics and stuff is not great. So it's tough to find one. I'm proud to be Italian when we talk about. I mean, if I think about the beauty and how Italy shaped the world in the past through the Roman Empire, maybe when I go to another country and I see everywhere because you can find everywhere Roman ruins, for example, and that's maybe a thing that makes me proud because the Roman Empire shaped Europe for 1,000 years, and still finding those things in other countries is just beautiful.
Now we're going to talk about education in general. So in Italy, well, in every country, they have different way to raise kids with school, with the family as well. What would you say are some things in Italy that they do to raise kids in school or with your family?
The education is not good, in my opinion. It's not really useful. Like I see, for example, in France, it's for education. I mean, even for other everything else, it works much better. But yeah, because when you're in school as a kid, they don't teach you useful things. In my opinion, I didn't learn anything that helped me in my life in Italy, like in school, of course. Just yeah, okay, basic stuff. But if you want to learn how to pay taxes, they're not gonna teach you that, for example, or even like for example gym sessions. I was lucky, like we were lucky if we had a gym because and the gym was not even in the school. We had to move 15 minutes away walking from the school because the school didn't have a gym, and that gym where we used to walk to go many times was not even available. So yeah, it's not working, I think, the education system. But now for me it's been a while because I stopped to go to school like for the regular school, the secondary, like 7 years ago. So maybe now things are changing. I mean, I hope so.
Okay. And what about the way in general, maybe you, but also if you can recognize some education aspects that you have in Italians in general, what are
Okay.
some values?
Yeah, yeah. So the approach of studying is there is a lot of theory, not much practice in the real world. I think it's like even when I talk about other friends from other countries, and I realize that the amount of hours that Italian study is too much. Like for example, my sister she went to the classic school where you study Latin and Greek,
Okay.
while she was playing tennis at the same time. She was studying 4 or 5 hours per day, other than the time spent in school. So it's almost 9 hours. I think it's just too much. So it's a lot of theory and not much practice in the real world too. Yeah.
Okay.
Even for universities is the same. It's a lot of theory.
What are some values, principles that Italians have in general in their personality that maybe come from education or also the country in general?
I mean, the people are, as I said earlier, are not, except a little bit in the north maybe, but in general, the people are not cold and they are welcoming. For example, if somebody comes to Italy and doesn't know a word of Italian and tries to speak, all the Italians are going to be happy. Yeah, yeah, you speak Italian, you know, they are passionate, I would say. Yeah, like Italians, I think, feel things in a real way. That's one thing that we all have in common. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I agree 100% with that. If you know, where do you think it comes from? This passion that Italians have, but maybe some countries in Europe, France,
Yeah.
Germany, maybe they don't really have.
I don't know. It's a thing that all the countries from the south of Europe, like Italians, are not the only ones. I think Spain and Greece, they're similar in this way. Maybe just maybe we're influenced by the weather because it's warm, so we are warm as well. But I don't really know. I just can guess why. Maybe for the weather or for the beauty of the country in the south. Maybe, yeah.
How do you think Italy as a country see the world? Do you when you're in Italy, when you study about the other parts of the world, what do you think? How do they see the rest of the world?
I think we see like other countries has really organized and there is lot of efficiency, which is something that Italy lacks of. Because, like for example, bureaucracy. If I go to another country and I see the bureaucracy, I think is amazing, and then I think Italy has probably the worst bureaucracy in the world. We're famous for that. So yeah, I think Italy sees other countries as efficient in different ways. For example, even building a house, building a flat or parking lots. Sometimes just in my city, they take could be even 1 year to build something that in another country, like for example, when I go in France, they would take probably 3 weeks. But in Italy, it takes 1 year because there is a company that does one thing, another company for the same building has another part, so it takes too much. So yeah, I think the efficiency is the main thing that we see for other countries. Yeah.
Okay, very good. And then on the other side, when you visit another country and you share maybe cultures with different people from other countries, how do they see Italy? Do they see Italy the same way you see Italy?
No, they don't see it. Everybody thinks about it. Italy has one of the most beautiful. I mean, it is one of the most beautiful places, but they see Italy only uh, for vacation. But and they think that when you go on vacation and you're gonna live the same way even if you live there for your life, and it's not the same. Because okay, yeah, it's beautiful, people come for 1 week, 2 weeks, you go to the beach, you go visit cities, but then when you live in Italy, then if you call to the hospital, they don't get you, it doesn't work. The schools are literally sometimes falling down because they're old. In the south, the roads are completely broken, dangerous. Even for me, it's dangerous in my city. Yesterday, I was with my scooter and I saw a huge hole. If I get in that hole, I probably die because the scooter would fall inside. Like so, yeah. It's not. People think about Italy in a way, and they're right for vacation, but if you live there, it's much different because there are many problems. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Good to know. Yeah, so yeah, Italy in Europe at least is probably one of the best country to visit, if not the best. And but yeah, at the end, living and going to vacation is always different. So
Yeah.
okay, now we're going to talk about football a little bit because that's the way we met. And I love football. We've played football our lives. So well, let's ask a few questions about football. So first, football in your country, what's the place it has? What place does it have in society in Italy?
Also, it's the national sport. It's the main sport, and there are places that live only to go to the stadium on Sunday. So so the role of these sports is huge in the country because it unites people, and I mean it divides people at the same time. But it's probably now tennis is growing in the country, but it's just in the during the last years. But in general, people only talk about football. Yeah, so it's really important.
Okay, okay, okay. Of course, Italy is a very big nation when we're talking about football. It's the second with the most World Cups in the world. So what do you think you keep from this culture? For example, well, maybe that's why also Italians are very passionate because they are very, they love sports. And you can see even in the lower divisions, you have incredible fans, which you don't always have in every country. So do you think there is a correlation, there is a relationship between the let's say the way Italians are, the way they are in general, and the football identity?
Yeah. I think there is. Especially, I always talk about the south because in the south people are a little warmer, and maybe I think it is for this reason that in the south you can find the biggest rivalry, like for teams. So yeah, I think there these things are connected. Yeah.
Okay, you just spoke about rivalry. So what's for you in Italy the biggest rivalry that you have?
I think the biggest is Rome against Lazio,
Okay.
because this one, Rome and Lazio, is really passionate. Yeah, like they really hate each other in a real way. While, for example, Milan and Inter, yeah, it is like really big, important game, but they don't hate each other like Roma fans and Lazio fans do. It's much worse. So I think this one is the biggest.
Okay. And now speaking of more countries, what are some rivalries in football and maybe even in general that Italy has within in Europe or outside of Europe?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest is against Germany. Germany, France, and Brazil are the countries Italy played against most of the times, winning and losing at the same time. But I think these three countries, it's always a beautiful game to see. Everybody love to watch Italy against Brazil, Italy against France, Italy against Germany. They are like the classic games since the beginning of football era. Yeah.
Okay, je peux ça. Okay, so we've talked about how Italians are passionate. And so, of course, when there is passion, there is conflict, tension sometimes. So, what do you think are reasons or ways that the country divide themselves or sometimes even stick together?
Italy is a country that is not unified at all. I think, like as Italian and like proud to be Italian, because everybody is gonna say, like a guy from Sicily is not gonna say I'm Italian. He's gonna say I'm Sicilian. A guy from Naples is gonna say I'm Napolitan. A guy from Sardinia is gonna say I'm Sardinian. This is because the country is divided in regions, and it's been unified, I would say, a little bit late. So every region has their own culture, which is completely different from a region that is only 100 kilometers away. It can completely change. And also, sometimes these regions, especially from the south and the north, they don't really like each other. They don't say beautiful things about other people from other regions. So I think this is the thing that divides the country a lot. And the only moment that I see that Italians are unified together is when Italy plays. But I think this is probably the only moment that you can find Italians all together cheering for the team, because if not, they don't care.
Okay, very good. Okay, so at the end, it was a podcast. I hope you learned a lot about Italy in general. I hope you learned about maybe the culture side, the region, and maybe some history about the country. So I hope you liked it and stay tuned for a next episode.